Just to revise a little bit, I said with the vegetation, you find where we are in Kenya, there is much difference because of the altitude. The main factor is elevation, and especially because of the temperature. And the rain also decreases with the altitude. At low altitude where we are now, if there is heavy rainfall. But as you start rising above about how many? It's over 3,000 meters. Then you find the elevation, the rainfall will start decreasing until you go to the peak where it thins out, and vegetation will change completely. We start with the thick forest, from montane forest. Then you go to what we call ericaceous forest, with what we call as the giant senecio. That one with the zone, you will not encounter that one. The giant senecio, the others we call the heather. And then from there, you go to the moorland. We are not going to reach there. And before you reach the moorland, there is a tree, which at the university, we only introduced the botanic garden, which we call as Hagenia. That marks the Tiber line. The moment you reach that line, you find that tree just dominating. Then above that, you don't get trees. You just get those now herbaceous and grasses. And that is where you get now mixed with the bamboo. And I said bamboo also forms a nice formation. That is a zone by itself, again, which we will not reach. But as you go down the river, or before I come to that factor, after the bamboo, you go now to the moorland where we have the grasses which are temperate. The species that we get there is completely different from this what we are getting here. Here you see this one, we encounter this grass here. We expect it to be this zone. This is Kikuyu grass, or Pennisetum gradistenum. There is the Pennisetum papulea, the one that is along the rivers, and also the one that people use as fodder. They are in the same genus. And in some areas, as we go down there, for this grass, because we expect it to be association with this forest, there are some other grass. If the area is disturbed, or if it is overgrazed, you will find a tufted grass. I will show you. And that one shows kind of disturbance that we call as Eleusin jageri. If you cannot remember that, remember Manyata grass. It's associated with the movement of the Maasais, the way they disturb the grasses and so on. That will now take over. This is palatable to the livestock, but the other one is hard, so it's not very palatable. Then if we come now to the vegetation itself, I mentioned this, okay, with the elevation, what we have in Kenya, we can call them like ecological zones. We have ecological zone 1 right at the top, where you do not get the forests, where we have those moorlands. If there is snow, that's the area gets covered with the snow. Then you come to ecological zone 2. And these are indicators now of ecological zone 2. And it's good also to associate natural vegetation with the economic activities. So it means this zone, if you had to utilize it economically, it is good for afforestation. And that's why you find now down here we have some plantations where they have introduced cypress. That would do much better than the crops. And then you go down, as you are reaching the lodge, that would be like ecological zone 3. And with that now you can go now for cropping activities. Okay? So you can grow maize. This zone, if you are to grow any crop that would grow in ecological zone 2, if it were not for tree plantation, is T. Then below it, you go to coffee zone. And you find, within good instructions, if the farmers follow that, then they can utilize the land economically. But there are times people just go haywire, they say no. Where they're supposed to be for tea, they start growing maize and beans and so on. And you find maize also does not do well, because there are those limiting factors, the temperature mainly. Anything below 13 degrees Celsius is not very good for maize, average. But sometimes it's difficult to convince the people. Then when you come now to the vegetation, this zone, the trees, but we encounter them naturally the way they are. This is the potocarpus. So we find it's dominating the zone. We expect these podocarpus and the Juniperus procera, the Kenya cedar or red cedar, to dominate within this zone if it is not interfered with. And it's good you note these species. We have two podocarpus in East Africa, the one that we expect to find in Kenya. They go with the zonation once again. This one, you find the leaf, they are more, I would say, slightly lanceolate or expanded. This is latifolia. Then as you go on the lower side, and I know we will encounter another podocarpus at the lodge. That will be another sampling site. If you check the leaves, you find they will be thinner and somehow like getting folded. That is falcatus. So they go with the elevation. You get the podocarpus in nearly the same zone, but as you go to the higher zone, you get this species dominating. And what I said in the lecture, as you get this zone, you get some species dominating, giving a uniform formation. And you see this is just like a uniform formation of the podo. A few others may be there, like this one. This you can see one here. This is different, isn't it? From the podocarpus. All the big ones are podocarpus, but this one is olea. And this one, again, with the zonation, yeah. You see, even the fruit. Look at the leaves the way they are. And these bluish fruits. And if you look now at ecology in totality, they are also edible to some monkeys and birds as they are mature. So you find they can now become, the forest can become a good sanctuary for that. Okay? This olea, the African olive, again, there are two major species. Okay, if you read all the books, they will list very many, but the review that was done, they were all lumped into two major species. Olea europea, subspecies africana. And in the old books, it is called Olea africana. But in the review, it was found to be the same species as the European olive, the one where we get olive oil, the one that grows naturally in the Mediterranean region. And that's why they were all given the Olea europea. Then the subspecies, the one that we were calling Africana now became subspecies Africana. And the other one remained now Olea europea, subspecies europea. That's how taxonomy goes. This one now was given Olea capensis. You see the one down here? With the set reproductive leaves and the bottom, but not as big as the other one. Then as you go down now, you will get the other one. The one that we are calling Olea africana, or Olea europea subspecies africana. The leaves are smaller than this. Unfortunately, this Olea is very important for timber and the charcoal, especially charcoal. They produce very good charcoal and the building posts. And therefore it was really hunted for by the people. So it disappeared, and we have more remnants of the other one, Olea europea. The same with the podo, the Kenya cedar. You can hardly get Kenya cedar. Before we made the forest conservation very strict, people were really hunting for Kenya cedar. We saw some which are remaining there, but most of the cedars which are being planted there are the exotic ones, the cypress, the cupressas, the genus cupressas. Kenya cedar is the juniperus. Because again, Kenya cedar, I mentioned in the lecture, is so important. Is as hard, nearly as hard as steel. It is not affected by the termites. So the posts, the timber, and the oil. I also said there are some Asians who are utilizing that in our forests. I encountered some in Imau who had the sawmills there, and their work is just to get the posts, cut into smaller portions, and then boil it and extract that oil, because that is a kind of essential oil. And then it would be used for coating furniture, other timber, other sources of timber made from other wood, so that to make it resistant and live for long. And mainly that they were exporting that, but now they have stopped. So that's why because we expect some of the Kenya cedar here, you find you cannot get them. They were in very high demand, to a point where that tree got presidential protection. If you are caught with the Kenya cedar, no question, you are just taken in straight away. Because it takes time also to mature. And if you do not have that kind of resource, then it is also medicinal. The wood, right, when you have cut or these very, I would say, the wood that it take long to heal, that oil is very, very curative. And that's why it was in high demand, not only in Kenya, but also in other countries. You apply that and you'll be okay. Then, with this, if you are to go now and you will encounter the river, you find